Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and I wanted to do something I haven't done before. The Tempo Storm has their Meta Snapshot, Vicious Syndicate has their Data Reaper report, HS Replay has like their tier list. I thought I'd give my opinion on what the tier level of decks are in both Standard and Wild. Basically, it's my personal perception. I play relatively high Legend most seasons, and I watch a lot of streams and see a lot of how things go. So I thought I'd give my opinion where you can go and watch in video form what decks are the strongest in the metagame for, we're going to go with June of 2020. We might make this a monthly thing depending on how it goes. So I'm going to start with the standard tier list, and then tomorrow you'll have to check out the YouTube channel. So please like and subscribe to the channel so you can follow the video. But tomorrow I will post a wild snapshot or a wild tier list. Again, not sure what we'll call it, but that'll be up tomorrow. So make sure to check that out. But on to the standard tier list. So let's start with standard decks. I'm going to be working through tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. I'm going to have 3 tiers. Tier 1 will be decks that are basically the best. They're undisputedly the best decks in the game. They're the strongest, they have the best spread across the meta, and can do insane things at the highest of ranks. Tier 2 is basically just below that, very strong decks that can sometimes struggle against basically the tier 1 stuff, but overall very powerful and you can do very good things. And then tier 3 are like legend capable decks. They're good, they're okay, but they have some real problems with specifically top matchups against tier 1 decks, but they're good enough. If you're a strong enough player, you could pilot it to like legend or maybe some decent rank. So let's get going. We're going to start with tier 3. We'll work our way up. And in standard, there's 3 tier 3 decks I'm going to talk about. First will be the deck that I played a lot this season that I got to legend on EU with, which is Galakrond Priest. This deck can do very well against Warrior specifically. Targets like Bomb Warrior and Rage Warrior, Egg Warrior, all that stuff. And it actually fares very well against Rogue. It used to be that Priest was auto-lose to Rogue, and now it seems to do very well. Myself, I'm like almost 70% against it, and I know other pros that do very well against Rogue. But it struggles immensely against Highlander Hunter, against Tempo Demon Hunter. Spell Druid can be a real pain in the ass. So that's like 3 of the best decks in the game. We'll talk about later that it just doesn't do great against. So it's decent, but has some real matchup problems. Next, I'll go with Quest Warlock. This is like an abomination of a combo deck, if you want to call it. It's more like a high roll combo deck. But basically, it cycles through its deck, activating the quest to get 0 mana cards. You have all your AoE like Dark Skies, and you have your dragons that can clear the board. You have some big taunts to protect yourself. You have some healing with like Moarg and Nether Breath and things like that. And then you try and win with like 0 mana Malygos, 0 mana Alexstrasza, your Dragon Queen late in the game, Zephrys, all of that, and combo your opponent down. But the deck has really fallen off. Bomb Warrior specifically has really made it go away. It can do all right against like Tempo Demon Hunter, but does struggle with aggression. And just, yeah, it was like the flavor of the week for a little bit, but it's really fallen off. It's seeing very limited play and just gets punished by Warrior a lot. But it's not the worst deck. You can still have success with it. You still see it time to time at higher ranks, so we're going to put it at tier 3. And then I have Highlander Mage. This is a deck that I don't see a lot of, to be frank, and I'm probably overrating it. But I want to put one deck in there that's kind of fun to play, that I played a lot a couple seasons ago. But again, it falls into that same problem of just struggles against the pure aggression of Tempo Demon Hunter and like Highlander Hunter and things like that. And with Bomb Warrior popping up as well, the Highlander synergies kind of get thrown out the window if your deck is full of bombs. But we're throwing an honorable mention over here, probably overrated by me, but I have some love for the Highlander Mage. Now on to tier 2. So these are decks that are really close to being tier 1, but are just below. And I'm going to start with Galakrond Stealth Rogue. We've seen Rogue have some pretty big success. I've seen some people hit like rank 1 legend with it. You can still do broken stuff with Edwin. You can get 0 mana cards with Togwaggle, all that stuff. It just, again, struggles against the top tier decks like Tempo Demon Hunter and Warrior. But overall, it can cheese anything. It's very, very strong and consistent, but just a little bit below, in my opinion. But you want to play some Rogue. It's probably one of the fastest decks to get Legend with. Like, I know a friend of mine, Cantaloupe, was struggling one day on stream. He's like, I'll just play off stream and get Legend quickly with Rogue, and he did. Next, we have one of the, what I would probably have called Tier 1 a week ago, is Tier 2 now, and that's High Lantern Hunter. Very powerful deck, just plays overstated minions basically on every turn with bonus effects. It's got an infinite War Axe, you got Bran, you have just some insane stuff in there like the Prime, and this deck, when it curves, it's almost unbeatable. When you have the 1, 2, 3, 4 perfect curve, it's just not many decks can deal with it. But one deck that can deal with it is Tempo Demon Hunter, and that's become the most popular deck yet again after 10 nerfs, and it really keeps this deck in check, and it's made it so that I was facing like 20% Hunter. To the last 2 days, I faced maybe 3 Hunters in like 16 hours of streaming. It was barely any. And yeah, like it can struggle a little bit against Bomb Warrior because it can't shut off the synergies, but it's still kind of like 50-50-ish. But High Lantern Hunter is still a very, very powerful deck. You can do incredible things. It's just fallen off a little bit. I don't think it's quite tier 1, but very close. Just basically Demon Hunter keeping it at bay. Last on the tier 2 list, I have Spell Druid, the dragon version. It seems to be the most popular. You know, you have your Breath of Dreams. You can ramp. You have Overgrowth. You have Ysera. You have your Mount Seller turns. You have Glowfly Swarm to carry the early game. And this deck just can outvalue almost everything. And if you get that God ramp curve, like, how do you beat Ysera on turn 4 or 5, or a big Mount Seller turn on like turn 4 or 3 or whatever? Very few decks can do much about it. The problem is, again, it's a deck that struggles against aggression, which is what Tempo Demon Hunter is. And Bomb Warrior has picked up popularity as well, which does incredibly well against this deck, especially if you're running like my list, which runs double Brawl and like all the AoEs. I've yet to lose to a Spell Druid playing Bomb Warrior, so it's got some couple of bad matchups, but overall, very good spread, very good deck, and a lot of people have done very well with it. Another one you can't go wrong with. And now to Tier 1, the best decks in the game. And if you've heard me on stream lately, if you're not playing Demon Hunter or Warrior, you're not really playing Ladder anymore. And that's the only classes that will appear in the Tier 1, at least my Tier 1 list. And starting with Bomb Warrior. A lot of people will argue it's Tier 2. I think it's Tier 1. For me, when I play it, it beats everything. It has a chance against absolutely everything other than Priest. Priest is like that only matchup that I've faced that I'm just like, it's almost unwinnable. But everything else, you're like 50-50 or favored. And I've already climbed to top 100 with it this season. And yeah, I'm still trying to get better with it. I'm still trying to refine my list. And basically the deck strategy is clear the board, gain armor with Risky Skipper Armorsmith, draw your weapons with Corsair Cache, put a bunch of bombs in your opponent's deck, play Blastmaster Boom, and if you need to finish them off, you got Grom in there for some extra reach. And you just have all the crazy AoEs, Brawl, Deathwing, all that stuff. Very effective deck. And yeah, it's been very successful and a very, very, very powerful one indeed that's really picked up in popularity. You're going to see a lot of it. Next, we have another warrior deck, the Egg Warrior, Enrage Warrior, whatever you want to call it. It's the best deck against Tempo Demon Hunter, which makes it basically the best warrior deck. Bomb Warrior is favored against Demon Hunter, but not as much as Egg Warrior. But Egg Warrior struggles a bit more against Spell Druid, so you kind of want to like, which warrior deck do I want to play today? Do I want to play the one that absolutely craps on Demon Hunter? Well, not absolutely craps, but it does a good job. Or do you want to target Spell Druid? Well, whichever one you want to do, basically pick that warrior deck. I've been seeing a lot of Spell Druid. I'm playing a lot of Bomb Warrior. And yeah, the deck, you have your eggs in there. You have Terran Gorefiend to like pop it and get copies of it. And then you have your Wormhole Challenger. You have a lot more better early game options. That's why it's better against the Tempo Demon Hunter. You have a lot better tempo. And of course, you have your Skipper, Armorsmith, Corsair, Cache, all that. You don't run bombs. You run the Lackey weapon, which gets you more value and, again, more tempo options. You just struggle with, like, big board clears. So if that Spell Druid gets that big board, you don't have Brawl and stuff to get back. Some people run Deathwing, but one Deathwing typically isn't enough. But very powerful deck. Again, has a great spread against almost everything. And it's better against Priest than Bomb Warrior as well. So if you want to worry about Priest, this also targets Priest better. And last, we have Tempo Demon Hunter. Is the best deck in the game. after 10 nerfs, it literally has one bad matchup in Warrior, whether it be Bomb or Tempo or Egg Warrior. That's it. It's its only bad matchups. It's even against like Face Hunter and stuff like that, but Tempo Demon Hunter is still the meta warping card. It beats almost everything. It's obnoxious in my opinion. I still think that if you haven't noticed why the other decks aren't as powerful, almost every deck I said is because of Demon Hunter. And I still think it's a problem, but it's the best deck. I can't dispute it. And yeah, Warrior beats it, which might make Warrior the better deck overall to play on ladder because it can beat the most popular deck, but it's only the best because of that. So yeah, Tempo Demon Hunter, nerfed 10 times, still number 1 on my list. So that wraps up the standard tier list. That's just my opinions on what the best decks are. Yours might vary. You might have a completely different opinion. So let me know in the comments. What do you think are the best decks in standard? And yeah, I'll hit you up with the wild list tomorrow. So make sure you sub, make sure you follow the channel so you can get notified of when that goes live. So have a great day and stay salty, my friends.